Hey, this is Kyle Crawford from Strong Dads. Strong Dads podcast would love to thank the Crimers Beer House for coming alongside of us. The Crimers Beer House was started in 1982 by the Crimer family, and since that time, they have definitely become a Cincinnati favorite. So if you're looking for an incredible meal in an incredible setting, definitely go down to Route 128 and check out the Crimers Beer House.
Welcome to Strong Dads. This is Merle Hutchinson being joined by the ever pain in the butt, Kyle Crawford. I'm sorry. That is just
when I introduce you, the king of the mic, the man with the plan, the man with the computer, and I get a pain in the butt.
You know what?
That's my intro.
Right here, I'm going to apologize. I'm apologizing. I'm sorry for being mean to you and treating you so harshly.
Thank you. I accept your apology, and I
got my fingers crossed.
What are we, 2?
Yeah. All right, no, enough silliness. Hey, I don't want to do this show today.
All right.
And the reason why I don't is because I feel completely convicted.
Ooh.
I feel we're going to talk a little bit about just the confession here of just the difficulty that a lot of us have when we're talking about hard issues. So we're in the middle of our series.
Yep.
When was the last time you talked to ... right? And we're talking our show last week was with Tyler Schmidt talking about drug addiction, and man, that is an awesome show.
Yep.
You need to go back and take a listen to that. Tyler helped us learn how to interact with the drug addict and how to speak and what kind of heart to have. So that was really good. But today, as you can all see, we have special guests in the house. Yes.
Maybe some of them can't see. Some of them are just listening.
That's right. You might just be listening. Why don't you introduce our man?
Absolutely. So, I think this, we continued our series just like you were saying, Merle. When was the last time you talked to? And today we're going to do the idea of talking to a homeless or people who are associated with that community. So, Ken, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Merle knows you a lot better than I do. So I'll let Merle kind of run that, and then we'll let you jump into kind of your story. So
sounds great.
Yeah. So this is Ken Maddin from Mary's grocery store.
A long time ago.
And Ken, you and I go way back to those days, but also over the years have just watched really kind of run parallel in the community, so to speak, with me, you going through the real estate world and me in the education world. But you have done, and we're going to get into a little bit more of your past, but you have done something that has sparked our interest here for this show, and that is reaching out to the people of need, in particular homeless, through the community blessing boxes.
Correct.
Okay. So we're going to get into that because we're also going to get into like your mindset of how I knew you, right?
There we go.
But the change of heart, or maybe not the change, but just something that came out that
exactly.
Maybe wasn't as much. So I have a confession here, and the confession is when we talk about homeless, like, I'm one of those guys who avoid the conversation. I walk, I go to the stadiums or whatever downtown Cincinnati, and you see the homeless, and I'm the guy who hopes that nobody extends a reach to me, like, hey, can I have a dime kind of thing. Yep. And I will confess that there are oftentimes thoughts in my head of, well, what did you do to get yourself in this mess?
Get a job.
Get a job. Yep. Get a job. These are the things. And I'm confessing that, right? Like, because I also call myself a Christian. Right. And again, that's that hypocrisy, that constant battle inside of us. But at the same time, I'm a counselor, and I know what it is to enable people.
Right.
Yeah.
I know all about that. So
fine line.
Yeah, it's this inner struggle that we have. And so I think we're just going to walk through some of that conversation, like how you did that, how you continue to do that with the blessing boxes. But we're challenging strong dads here, like what's going on in your head and where's your heart?
Which is part of the reason of this series is, man, we got to bring the human factor back into this. Because similar to you, Merle, my confession, man, I can't tell you the number of times where I've been driving and you come to a stoplight and there's a guy there, a woman there holding a sign, and you're like, all right, I'm going to creep forward just a little bit further, or I'm going to stay back a little bit so that way I don't make that eye contact.
Right.
And man, that is so not the heavenly perspective. Like, that is an earthly idea. That is a human fleshly thing to have those thoughts. And just like you're saying, Merle, man, we need to get out of that. We need to get out of our own way and realize that, man, these are just people. These are people that God created, God loves. They're no different than we may be in different places in our life, but man, at the end of the day, they're still God's children, right? That God made them in His image, like, and it's gonna be a process, not just talking to you, Ken, is gonna change that for our strong dads out there, but man, we have to begin that process of changing our mindset.
Yeah. So let's do a couple of ads.
Yep.
And then let's jump into Ken's story.
Perfect.
I like it. So yeah, definitely Strong Dads. We would love to thank Kramer's Beer House for coming alongside of us down on Route 128. Check them out. Let them know we set you down there. Get a pork chop. We were talking about the urinal, the men's urinal. Yeah, for sure. Ken said he's never been down there to go into the restroom. He's gone down there to eat before. So check them out. Let them know we sent you down there.
All right, very good. But that urinal gets more time than anything that we talk about. That thing's going to be in the Hall of Fame or something. Strong Dad's Hall of Fame. All right, I also want to thank Casey's Outdoor Solutions. Thanks to Casey for supporting the work that we do here at Strong Dads, as well as Rock Solid Families. Casey's been an avid supporter of ours. So go down and help him out. Man, this is the work that he does in this time of year with all the landscaping projects. And I think you probably know Casey as well.
He did a lot of work for me.
Yeah. So Casey is a good guy. So go down and check out Casey's Outdoor Solutions for all your landscaping and gift needs. All right. Give us a little background on Ken Maddin first, just so that we can kind of create the picture. Like a little bit of your upbringing, a little bit about who you are.
So I'll start with saying I'm the son of a Baptist minister. So that usually means you're the worst kid in the class.
You're a PK.
Yeah, that's just the way that works. But I grew up 7 siblings. Throughout my adult life, I've always been charitable. My wife and I both. We've had lots of charities that we've donated to and given to, but this kind of took us in a different direction.
Okay.
Yeah, I was the guy you were talking about. My son, when he was little, would go to ball games, and it's like, let's throw a couple bucks in the bucket, just keep walking.
Yeah.
So
at least you threw a couple bucks in the bucket.
there we go. So
yeah.
So businessman, local businessman, community's always been good to me. Mm-hmm. Done well, and we try to give back.
Yeah.
This takes us just another step in a kind of different direction. Very, very Republican. Yeah. I've run for office as a Republican. I've voted Republican. The first presidential election that I campaigned was for Richard Nixon. I was in 5th grade, so wow. I was always have been right to the right with politics.
Okay, all right. So you come up with this idea, and I don't know if you didn't come up with the name probably first. You usually come up with the idea of the community blessing boxes. Am I saying that right?
Yeah,
community blessing boxes.
Yeah, community blessing boxes.
So give us the seed background of where that came from.
So it's kind of 2 phases. Going back about 6 years ago, I was trying to get in shape. So I'd get home at night, and whatever time of night it was, we'd go for a walk in the park.
Okay.
So I got home really late. It's dark. My son went with me. We went down to Lesko Park, and we're walking, and we came upon this guy who was all scraggly, long hair, beard, rooting through the garbage. And as we went by, I said, "Hey, how's it going?" And he turned around. His eyes lit up. It's like, this guy's talking to me. Yeah. Nobody talks to me.
Right.
So he ran over to the drinking fountain, washed his hands, and came back and shook my hand.
Oh, wow.
And my son and I sat there and talked to him for 30 minutes. Wow. So that was probably the first change in me.
So you met a human.
I met a human
there versus a homeless
and he met a human.
Yeah.
Because it was just like, nobody talks to me.
Yeah.
This guy's actually talking to me. And it became a routine. We'd go down every couple of days, and he'd be there. We'd talk, and we'd get him some stuff. And then winter's coming, and he lives on the riverbank. And he said he was 72 years old, if I remember correctly. He's lived on the riverbank most of his life.
Oh, wow.
He said even when he worked right out of high school, he said, I just never liked being around people. We got him an apartment because winter was coming, and just like lots of these people, he had some addiction problems, and he lasted in an apartment through winter, and then he gave up the apartment, and that was kind of the end of it. So,
to your knowledge, did you go back to the river?
Oh, he went back to the river.
Okay.
I'd bump into him occasionally. Then he'd be back, and he'd have an apartment for a while, and then he'd be back on the river. And then about a year and a half ago, he was found dead in the woods. So I'm there. Dang, Ken, you should have done more. So that was kind of my big eye opener. So then how the blessing boxes started, Facebook. Facebook's good and bad.
Right.
So I'm looking at Facebook, and a local lady put the question on, what are we doing to help the homeless? And she and I got in a conversation, and that week I reached out to Lawrenceburg mayors and Aurora mayors, and we put the boxes in the parks. That's kind of how it started.
Okay.
So.
Wow. So, there's an interesting thing that you bring up there, that idea that you got him an apartment or helped to get him an apartment, whatever that might have looked like. And he lasted a winter, you said, like he lasted a winter,
right.
And then he was back out. So there's something, at least for him, intrinsically, like, I don't want to be in an apartment. Like being in the woods is
for lots
where
of
I want to be.
Yeah. So last year, Lawrenceburg had, when it was so bitter cold out, they opened up a shelter, a severe weather shelter, and working with some people, some other locals, and we kind of helped it out. And we only had 10 people that at our max that stayed there. And there's a place that a lot of people park their cars and sleep at night. And we went over and begged them to come over, and it was like, nah, we'd rather sleep. We'd rather sleep in our car.
Wow.
Yeah, because they're just for whatever reason. Some of it's mental illness, some of it's addiction. PTSD, they just don't want to be around people.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Which you're talking about the shelter. So I think that goes right into our next point. So, with the blessing box, are you guys, the hopes, are you trying to be an arm or a leg of a food pantry, or how does that work? Because obviously the hope is churches step in, and obviously churches can't be everything to everyone, right?
Right.
And shelters are the same thing.
But neither can government. So
that's right.
That's kind of what we're trying to be, that in between.
Okay.
And it's amazing. So we started this Community Blessing Boxes page group on Facebook, and it's now up to 1,300 people.
Wow.
And each of these individuals, a lot of the individuals, they contribute money, they contribute goods, they go out and check the boxes too. So it's grown so much from just the boxes. So like 2 weeks ago, it was, hey, there's this couple that's sleeping in their car. They haven't had a change of clothes or in 3 weeks. Bam, I had $500 PayPal to me. Go buy these people clothes.
Wow.
Last week, a lady was having back surgery, lives in an apartment, no bed. She sleeps on the floor. Her surgeon said, you got to do something about that. Within an hour after throwing it on there, we had a bed for her.
So, Kenny, we've talked about the community boxes and the folks coming up and using those community boxes, but when they come up, you've gotten to meet a lot of these people over the time.
Numerous. Yes.
Right. So tell me, like, what they're bringing to you. What people are you starting to meet and learn about? What's their story? Is there a commonness in their story?
I'll say that it's been amazing meeting people that I would have never met earlier in my life.
Okay.
Yeah. So they have brought as much to me as I've brought to them. I think we've already discussed that many of them have mental or emotional problems, and for the most part, they love having someone to talk to.
Yeah.
They don't want to go around people, but I'm there one-on-one, and I'm bringing something to them, and they've talked. They've shared their lives. Yeah, they've shared how they've gotten there. Some share some really crazy stories.
Yeah.
So.
Do you see, like when I think of a homeless person, I think of somebody who's completely depressed, on the edge of tears all the time, or do you not see that? Do you see them like, no, they're getting through life. It's not the way I would get through life, but they're getting through life.
Yeah. They have emotions, ups and downs, just like we do.
Yeah.
And I try to always report back to our group after I talk to someone that day, and I'll say, boy, Bill wasn't having a good day today.
Yeah.
Some days I'll be there and he'll want to talk for 30 minutes, and other days he's just down and it's like, thanks, see ya.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, let's get into that idea of actually having those conversations. Like when you approach, someone in the parks, where your boxes are posted, and you're in the park, man, how do we, giving advice to our strong dads, to myself and Merle, like how do we approach that society? How do we approach the people who look different than us, that are in a different phase in their life where they may be struggling, maybe they're in this world like you were talking about, the gentleman, that when your first encounters, he had been in it for the majority of his life. How do we approach someone like that?
I approach them just like I approached you, and it's just a smile on my face. How are you doing today?
Yeah.
And 90% of the time, it's very well received. 10% of the time they're scared and run and they don't want anything to do with another human. But most of them are crazily similar to us.
Yeah.
Their life's a little different, but they enjoy the interaction.
You're talking, that there is a small portion of the homeless population that does not even want to make that initial. Is that from a traumatic experience that you found, or is that from just almost the opposite effect of where we are approaching someone who's in a homeless community, that maybe there's a little bit of timidness, a little scared. Where do you find that out?
And that 10%, 20% of the people that I'm talking about, that's exactly it. I mean, they've either had bad experiences in their own personal lives, they've had bad experiences with people that harassed them after they were already homeless.
Yeah.
So there's a definite percentage of them that have been harassed, abused, that don't want any contact.
Yeah. I can see, like, almost as we have become hardened. When I say we, I'm generalizing. The hardness of, they need to figure it out. They've got themselves into that. But all of us, right? The prejudice, hardness, all that can run through all of us.
But both ways.
Right. And so they become hardened. Like, all of those people out there have no clue. I don't want to interact with them.
Fact.
So they reject you, right?
Correct.
I think you've shared the story about the lady running away from you when you were trying to give her some help.
Absolutely. Running away screaming.
Yeah.
I mean,
in
total
good,
terror. Yes, absolutely. So.
Yeah.
We have the people that we talk to often. It's been amazing how they've kind of come out too.
Once they feel
safe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I find it interesting, the part of the work that we do with marriages at Rock Solid Families is trying to teach people a level of empathy within the marriage. And that sounds really like you have to do that. Our survival skill is very much self-centered. Like, what do I need to do to get my world done today?
Protect me, yes.
Yeah. And the more that we're ingrained in doing that and feel insecure in that, the more like, I don't have time for you because I really have to survive for me. And so the question that we always really drive hard in marriage work is, when was the last time you asked your spouse, how are you doing? And meant that genuinely, right? Like, not, how you doing today? And then not really even care what they say.
Yeah.
The idea that you said, how are you doing?
Right.
And then you hung around for the answer is probably something that they don't get.
That's fact.
Very often, right?
Yeah.
And it's
correct.
So, all right, I'm gonna
throw it out there.
Hold you to the fire here. So, have you turned into a bleeding heart liberal or what? What's up with you?
Seriously, I answer this question often.
Yeah.
I'm still very much conservative.
Right.
But as we were just talking about earlier, I try to be the George Bush compassionate conservative.
Okay.
And we can have it both ways.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
right.
But honestly, a couple years back, I would have never thought this way.
Yeah.
But
what do you think was going on in your world that allowed you to have your heart opened just to receive that message?
My personal experience with mental illness.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm estranged from my daughter.
Yeah.
And there's mental illness involved there. So I saw how quickly that can change a person's life.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, many of these people that are homeless have mental illness.
Yeah. It hits home with me, and we all come from our own backgrounds and our history. Our genetics are what they are. We can't really just alter those that very easily. But I would consider myself conservative in nature as
Right.
well, right? But it is through my own mental illness with severe anxiety disorder that when I hear people saying, suck it up and pull up your
Right.
bootstraps, I really want to just go pop them in the head.
Right.
Because they don't like, if I could, I would.
If it were that easy,
Right, and that's where Tyler helped us to realize that idea that if the drug addict could comprehend and think like you're thinking in your logical mind, they would.
right.
Right? It's not like they're saying no to being healthy. They just can't. And
Exactly.
so that whole idea for me learning this 30 years ago, I was like, oh man, like when I see somebody going through severe anxiety now, my brain completely switches to a level of empathy, not enabling though. I will tell you, like
big difference.
my journey through dealing with my own struggles was not to rest on, well, somebody else is going to take care of me.
Right.
And so that's part of the challenge. But I find it interesting too that us learning to accept where people are. So when you got one of your guys an apartment, and then he rejected that. I'm going to say that he rejected it after so many months. What came to your mind?
It wasn't good.
Yeah.
It's just like it was. Damn, here I am trying to help this guy, and now he just walks away from it. So absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's been a very long learning experience for me too.
Yeah.
So when does that? If we're supposed to be Christ-centered, Christ-minded. Like, when does that idea of so they're rejecting me?
Right.
How many times are you going after these people? He rejected the idea of that apartment. I mean, do you just throw your hands up and be done with him, or is it that that he, at the end of the day, he may not know it, but he still needs that help.
Right.
Like, where do you find that balance of going after them or pushing too much?
Well, and that's the what started this whole movement several years ago. Even though the movement just started last year, but in my mind was because they found him dead, and I said to myself, "You should have done more." Yeah. It was too late to help him then. I helped him. He rejected, moved on. I shouldn't have stopped.
Yeah.
So, and that's the thing that kind of ate at me until this project started.
Yeah. Okay, so you bring up, now we're really getting into kind of the psychology of help, right? And so one of the things that we often are challenged with in the counseling world is how much help should be extended. Like, so I always say, I can't want your marriage to work more than you do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Because then I don't sleep at night.
Right.
Like I lay awake at night because I can't fix everyone. Right.
Correct.
So where is that balance for you? At the end of the day, when you are rejected, because basically the gentleman that you helped, and then you didn't help in your mind enough.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
How do you handle that?
Get up the next day and go out and fill boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've got one right now that a whole different guy that we found an apartment for. He still has a drug problem, and he and I go head to head about his drug problem multiple times a week. And I say to him, I'm through. You don't want to help yourself,
right?
So I can't help you. But I'm still there,
right?
I was helping him out 7 days a week. Now I'm there 2 days a week. Just interacting and trying to keep him on the right path. But at the end of the day, we figured out that we just can't help everybody.
Yeah.
But we still got to try.
Right. Right.
This made me think, just a personal experience. It's probably been 10, 15 years ago. I guess more like 10 years ago, making runs on the same patients over and over and over again.
Right.
And you lose that empathy, you lose that compassion for people. And I remember specifically having a conversation with my brother, like, these people don't want to get help, right? They're just, they don't even want, like, why should I go there and help them? And my brother made a comment to me that I will forever remember. He's like, well, it's a good thing Jesus didn't think that way.
Yep.
Isn't it so true? Like, it's a really good thing Jesus didn't say, well, Kyle's messed up,
Write him off.
just be done with him,
Yeah.
right? And that mindset, again, just going back to faith and that idea that Christ doesn't call us to just give up on these people.
Right.
No, because think about the times that we have rejected him. Like I think about the first seeds that were planted in me many, many years ago about my faith. I grew up in a church, but I really didn't have a faith understanding about the levels that we're talking about now. And I'm just really fortunate that people didn't quit knocking on the door.
You.
Yeah,
and it doesn't make it any. I mean, we're still men, right? We still have we have sinful nature, and it doesn't necessarily make it easier to say, well, screw you. You've flicked me off a couple of times, and it doesn't make it easier. But it's just, again, just at the end of the day, going back and realizing like who we are and what we're actually called to do.
I have to throw out there this group that I'm involved with. When I have bad days, and I kind of report in on Facebook to them.
Sure.
Here's what happened at the boxes today. Here's the conversation I had today, and they will either pick me up or kick me in the butt and make it. This is now our mission, and we got to keep it going.
Yeah. So, what do you say to the people that say, well, Ken, now you are enabling more people to be stuck, and also the park is now filled with these community boxes where the homeless are hanging out. I used to go walk down there and feel safe down there and enjoy that with my kids, and now I'm not feeling as safe. So how do you handle that?
And honestly, it really hasn't been that big of a problem. And what's really happened, and this is what I'm just totally amazed at the way this whole thing has happened. I'll go down to the trailhead to fill boxes. I did yesterday. I couldn't fill the boxes. They were jam-packed.
Oh, yeah.
And I talk to people, they'll be down there eating under the shelter. It's like, yeah, anytime we come down to walk now, we bring a few items.
Oh.
So instead of it being negative, which is, when I got involved in this, I had to promise the mayors that it wouldn't become negative.
Yeah,
and
because the parks are
the
for
parks
all
are
of
for
us.
everybody,
right?
But so it hasn't, and a lot of these people don't come out tonight after dark. So there's not a lot of interaction with the other people in the parks. But
have you had any besides suspicions of things going bad? Have you had any bad events that, like, a homeless guy confronted somebody or freaked somebody out?
We have not.
Yeah.
No. Now we've had a few times where someone's come and emptied all the boxes. But the abuse has been.
So empty the boxes, assuming that they're taking it for the wrong reasons, or maybe selling it again, or something like that.
Because like in the winter, we put sleeping bags and blankets and things that people can sell. And it's happened. But it hasn't happened often.
Right.
So are the boxes, are they the Halloween candy bags where it says take one? Is that the idea behind them?
It's take what you need,
okay.
and let us know what you need.
Okay.
And there, like I said, there's a few people that go out and take everything in the boxes.
Yeah.
And I actually confronted some. I mean, and they.
So you've seen a little bit of that.
I've seen it happen. There's, and they were, excuse what I call them, church ladies.
Yeah.
The ladies that I grew up looking at church, their hair back in a bun and the long dresses, and she's taking everything out of the box, and took it over to a real nice car, and I sat there. I just filled them, and I was actually texting to my group, and they're, all right, I just can't let it go. So I went over and I said, if you need it, take it. That's what it's here for.
Right.
But if you don't need it, and you look like you don't, please leave it for those that do.
Yeah. That's interesting, because that then gets into the whole disruption of the welfare system that turns into the abuse, right? And so this is the thing that all welfare, and I'll call this a welfare system. All welfare systems start with good intentions,
right?
But it is from the people who abuse them that make the conservatives more conservative, right? Make them more angry about it, and so. I like the idea that you confront that. We should confront that, right? Because this is no different than when we talk about, the ladies being sexually abused by men, and now we are every lady starts to cry out, well, I was abused once, I was raped once, and now the next thing you know, the original movement it's been soured.
Right. So, absolutely.
Yeah, so there's a societal responsibility for these kinds of things. Yeah. So what is the vision for the future of community blessing boxes, or are we just day to day and we're just going to do what we do?
In my mind, it's day to day. It's growing where it grows. And you said it's taken different directions than we anticipated it would. But from the beginning, there was myself and two ladies that were doing it, and in my mind, it goes where it goes.
Right.
In their mind, we needed organization. We needed, and under that, that's not where I see it going.
Right.
But it's grown crazily, and there's been some people that have just really stepped up and helped immensely. But
and just for clarity, is it a registered nonprofit?
It is not. Now we're now associated with a nonprofit. So people that want to, get a write-off.
Right. So it goes through that
Correct.
Nonprofit, and then it gets filtered down to you guys.
Correct.
Gotcha.
So how can our strong dads out there, how can our listeners, how can they get plugged in? How can they help out?
The first thing they need to do is go to Facebook. I hate to give Facebook a plug, but but Community Blessing Boxes. It's a group on Facebook, and it's just tremendous. There'll be needs that are thrown out. There'll be, we need money for this, and bam, here it comes. But that's the best way to get us, to look at Community Blessing Boxes on Facebook.
Mm-hmm. What is your relationship with the area churches? Are you the enemy, or are you in, is there a level of competition, or are you guys in step with each other?
I'll say yes.
Okay. All right. All the above.
So I was filling the boxes one day, and a lady walked up to me and said, "You're putting us out of business." Oh. and I won't say which church she was affiliated with. She said,
"I don't know if I want to know."
Yes, it's too easy for them to come to the boxes rather than come to our church one day a week. So well, it is what it is. But then there have been other churches that have reached out and have helped us with tons and tons of things. The Hamlin Chapel in Lawrenceburg is just restarting their dinner like they do on Wednesday nights. Mm-hmm. They reached out to us and said, "Hey, can you help us promote this?" So it's, for the most part, it's a good relationship.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's just an interesting dynamic.
It is very.
And people are funny. It gets back to people are weird. That's why religion gets weird, because all of the different personalities and our prejudices come out in different ways. But, well, Ken, we're going to wrap things up. But what are some final words or messages that you might want to get out there in terms of challenging people with maybe the whole heart thing? Like how does the heart start to change?
God will change it.
Yeah.
And I'm not a big religious guy, as most people know. I very much believe in God and talk to God daily. Listening.
Yeah.
And that's been, I've done a couple things the past few years. I started the Christmas with Friends for people that had no place to go at Christmas. And I kid you not, and I tell people this, I heard the voice. Yeah. It wasn't my idea. It was, here's what you need to do, Ken.
Yeah.
So listening. That's all. That's seriously all it takes. Yeah. It's just listening and just throwing your biases, putting your biases aside.
Mm. Man, that's a big one right there. Putting your biases aside and listening. I think so often our prayers are nothing but us requesting, right. And instead of just being silent,
right.
and listening and allowing your heart to be managed a little bit differently by God's hand. That's huge stuff. Kyle, you got anything for us, man?
Yeah, this upcoming weekend, and we were my small group last night. We were actually just talking about this. That we're in the midst of a kind of a little series we're doing as well. Man, let's go out there and let's serve the people who are not being served by other people. Like let's just do a call out to all our strong dads, and our goal in our small group is more of the anonymous side. To whatever, to pay for someone's gas, to buy groceries for someone, to stop at a park where there are homeless, and reach your hand across the aisle and actually, know that they are different than you, but man, they're still valued. At the end of the day, they are still a valued person. Like let's challenge all of our dads out there, myself included. Like this week, I want to do something for someone who is in need. So because I am very fortunate in my life, I have resources that a lot of people don't have. Like let's change our community.
Yeah, yeah.
Amazing.
Good stuff. The heart is something, you've heard this before. Jesus could never be a liberal, or Jesus could never be a conservative. Jesus was both, right? God in his nature is fully man, fully woman, fully liberal, fully conservative. He is the best of all of that we are. And so
fully liberal, fully conservative. That would be
yeah.
Like,
well, he's got the heart, but he's also got the logic, right?
Yeah.
So
Right.
Scripture is all about truth, but it's also all about justice.
Yeah.
And so that's those two sides of things, and love kind of encompassing all of that. And truly what love is, right? I like to put boundaries on my love, or biases on my love. And this challenges me to go, you need to maybe get out of your own way on some of these things and let the voice of God speak to your heart. So what a good show. What a great opportunity. If nothing else, we do just ask you to have some conversation with yourself about, what could I do better that I'm not doing? And in this case, outside of my home, in the community, looking for the needs of other people. So, Ken, I want to thank you for your time. It's always good touching base with you.
Appreciate it.
We're going to ask you guys to share this show. If you like what you hear here at Strong Dads, we need your help. Give us 5-star ratings. Share the show. Subscribe to the channels. These are the things that just help us have these kinds of conversations. Email us. If you don't like something that Ken said, I know I didn't say anything, but if you don't like something, let us know, right? This is, to us, this is not a battle about right and wrong as much as it's a growth process.
Yeah.
All of us are here to grow. And Ken, your story to me is all about a growth story.
Absolutely.
Just coming into a different mindset as we see the need. All right. Kyle, send us off, man.
Yeah, stay tuned. We got a couple more shows on this series, talking someone of a different race than you, talking to someone who's gone through some tragedy. So stay tuned. We're excited about this little series we're doing. And Ken, thanks so much for coming on our show.
Thank you.
Go out there and be some strong dads.
Casey's is a premier garden center and gift shop located in Lawrenceburg, Indiana. Casey's offers a wide selection of plants, landscaping materials, home and garden decor, and gifts for every occasion. Casey's is committed to providing exceptional service, a unique shopping experience, and value to every customer. Stop in and see what makes Casey's so unique. Located at 21481 State Line Road, Lawrenceburg, Indiana, or call 812-537-3800. Let Casey's help you add beauty to your home.